1.4 billion euro, depending whether you're greenfield or brownfield. You get an idea of the timescales we're talking about. So we have, as I mentioned at the Europol conference a few weeks ago, the man with the fake tan was giving us some tariffs that we have to deal with. And these tariffs could be gone in a few years. And please remember, I'm talking about building plants that take 5 to 7 years to build. So the tariff issue could have been round a couple of times before the plant starts to produce. So it's all rather difficult if you're looking at it from a polyurethane plant building perspective to take a view on how we're going to deal with tariffs. Because the tariffs change a lot quicker than we can build, support and improve plants. So I think that's the first conundrum that we're trying to deal with. I think, secondly, we have to look at the supply chains, and as I mentioned before, the whole thing has moved east with the manufacturing, and the industry has followed it. We've mentioned this before. So what's going to happen now? As it was touched on earlier, sorry, I can't even see whether I'm making sense here in the translation. Hopefully I do. But you can see that we will now be looking for our next level of competitiveness. Now, whether that's low cost of production, whether that's low cost of production of just raw materials, or the follow-on products like the mattresses in flex foam, or whether it's upholstery, or the insulation in rigid, that's something for the industry to look at anyway, with or without tariffs. You have to maintain your competitiveness and ensure that your flexibility, of which part of that is your competitiveness, all flows in the same direction, because if you don't, one of your competitors is going to take your market share. This is basic economics, this is actually nothing new. So we have all this noise, and let me explain why I call it noise, the tariffs. It's worrying, it's disruptive today. We've had tariffs before. And just to give you an example, I was talking to some colleagues a few moments ago about, we've had this before, and if you look at the mattress industry as an example, it's a huge topic in Europe at the moment. Mr. Trump put on tariffs some time ago on mattresses, and people found ways around it. He then came with a second round of tariffs on the countries that he had moved to. Guess what? The industry found a way around it. And there's a constant movement, and that is entrepreneurship, of everybody trying to find workarounds around problems that we're sitting here talking today. And one thing I am convinced of is the industry will find a workaround. Maybe we don't know what it is in the room today, but I'm pretty sure, without anybody being in this room, that these are topics that are being discussed. I think what follows on from that are the supply chain challenges that are coming with it. We all know what's going on in the geopolitical arena at the moment, and we all now know, if you're a European producer, that you'll bring a lot of your polyurethane materials in from what we know as the Far East. So, nothing wrong in that. It's just that you're shipping your materials halfway around the world, where you were shipping them previously in a tank truck, maybe a couple of 100 kilometres away. So if you looked at it from a pure supply and demand perspective, everything's fine. But you have to remember, supply chain has become more and more important as things are shipped further and further. And again, going back to the geopolitical disruptions, I'm trying to be polite here, disruptions, this is a cost impact. And it's a cost impact on our business. And yet again, people are again trying to minimise costs, and they're trying to find workarounds. And one thing, again, I am convinced, we will find workarounds. I just don't know what they are at the moment, or at least I'm prepared to share in public. So that's a very sort of broad view on a rather complex topic, but it's disruption. We've had disruption in the industry before, and we'll have it again. The industry is able to deal with these things We've dealt with them before, and we'll deal with them again. Hopefully the translation is somewhat clear.
Okay, thank you very much, Clint. Well, certainly we are living in a